on a cobweb afternoon in a room full of emptiness.
On May the 18th, 2017, Chris Cornell passed away in a hotel room at the MGM Grand in Detroit, Michigan. He was 52 years old.
By freeway, I confess I was lost in the pages.
He had not long come off stage after playing what would be his final ever concert at the Fox Theater with his band Soundgarden.
Of a book full of death, reading how we'll die alone.
Cornell is survived by his wife and 3 kids.
And if we're good, we're laid to rest anywhere we wanna go.
Chris Cornell meant a lot to a lot of people around the world. His music, his lyrics, his songs, so many good songs. It is a big loss to the music world and to his family and to all his fans. The guy had a voice that transcended over and beyond. His guitar playing was awesome with his own offbeat type style. Lyrics that were crafted very well also. We all had our favorite songs, and damn, there were so many great songs. On my channel here, I made a documentary, Chris Cornell My Wave, which you can check out. And thanks guys for the response to that video. And here are some of the comments that you guys left on there. It just shows how much Chris meant to everybody from all around the world. It was a real shock to hear when Chris had passed back in May of 2017. I was just probably playing some PlayStation or something like that, and it just came over the radio. The news came over, and I just couldn't believe it. It was like, how could this guy be gone, you know? Like some people who pass away, it may not be such a shock with their lifestyle or whatever, but it was a real shock to hear that Chris had passed. A real shame. So we've got some really cool interviews from the likes of Eddie Trunk, Dave Grohl, and Corey Taylor from the band Slipknot. These interviews were taken right around the time of Chris's passing, and we're going to check those out throughout the duration of this video. We're also going to look at the Chris Cornell statue that was unveiled by his family, the I Am the Highway tribute concert, Chris Cornell's win for Best Rock Performance at the 61st Grammy Awards, and more. But first up, let's check out this clip from Eddie Trunk. Here he tells a real cool story of how he went to see Chris Cornell live one time, and he didn't play his favorite song, Fell on Black Days, so he met up with Chris after that show and said, hey, why didn't you play Fell on Black Days? And basically, Cornell said to him, hey, if you come tomorrow, I'll put that song on my set list, and I'll put you on the guest list and everything. So Eddie Trunk went to the show the following night, and Chris played that song just for Eddie Trunk.
I'm going to put your name on the guest list. Why don't you come tomorrow? He said, I'll play Fell on Black Days if you do. So I said, oh, all right, well, I appreciate that. And sure enough, next day, showed up at the Beacon. My name's at the list. I go to my seats, and halfway through the set, Chris Cornell walks up to the mic, and he goes, hey, so I want to do a request for a friend that I met last night for the first time. This is Fell on Black Days. And I was like, it was amazingly cool. I mean, it was super cool for him to have done that. And that's all I knew about the guy. I mean, I didn't know him personally really at all.
So a really cool clip. A nice clip there from Eddie Trunk saying how Chris specifically played Fell on Black Days just for him and put him on the guest list and stuff like that. It just shows you the character of Chris Cornell and what a great, nice guy that he really was. You can just tell. And so next up, we're looking at the Chris Cornell statue unveiling that took place in October of 2018. The rain came down on this day when a life-sized bronze statue memorializing Chris was unveiled in his hometown of Seattle. The statue, which shows Cornell holding an electric guitar, was created by artist Nick Mara and is now on display in Seattle's Museum of Pop Culture. Chris's Soundgarden bandmates Kim Thale, Ben Shepherd, and Matt Cameron all attended the unveiling ceremony at which his widow, Vicky Cornell, spoke, and she said, "This statue is a commemoration, a focal point to keep Chris's memory alive, in us, in Seattle, and in the world." So there goes a statue. I think it's pretty cool. It's a good way to keep Chris's memory alive. Although some people did take to it negatively when the statue was unveiled, I can't really see why. Some people may think it's not something that Chris may necessarily have wanted, and that it's maybe selling out in a way, but I don't really get that. I just see it as a way to keep his memory alive. And you see a lot of famous people and celebrities, they have statues made of them when they pass, so it isn't exactly a new thing. A lot of people from the rock community have it done, Kurt Cobain for example, and in my opinion I think it's fine. It's a show of respect, and it honors what Chris has done in the music world and how much he meant to a lot of people. It's just as simple as that. You don't need to read into it any more than that. I think it's a nice tribute. And so now moving on to the I Am the Highway Chris Cornell tribute concert that took place on January 16, 2019 at the Forum in Los Angeles. Jimmy Kimmel hosted the concert with Brad Pitt, Josh Brolin, Juliette Lewis, and Jack Black being among some of the special guests. Chris had a great vision to protect the world's most vulnerable children, and all of the profits raised from the concert went to the Chris and Vicky Cornell Foundation. From the official Chris Cornell Facebook page, Vicky, Chris's wife, states, "Thanks to all the amazing artists and incredible fans, we are beyond proud to announce that I Am the Highway, a tribute to Chris Cornell tribute show in honor of Chris's life and legacy, raised just over $1.3 million. So as you can see, the concert was very successful there. And it truly was a star-studded lineup for the night, with artists including the Foo Fighters, Metallica, Miley Cyrus, Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, members of Pearl Jam, the Melvins, and many more. There was also a performance of Bob Marley's Redemption Song by Chris's daughter Toni, with Ziggy Marley on guitar. Cornell's son Chris and daughter Lillian Jean would also make appearances during the concert. So as I say, it was a star-studded night with many awesome performances and collaborations going on. And here is one of my standout moments from the night. It's Dave Grohl playing with the members of Audioslave performing Show Me How to Live. This thing just rocks your socks off. Check this out. And speaking of Dave Grohl, we now have a pretty nice interview clip with him. He gets pretty deep and meaningful in this one, speaking about Chris. So this interview from Dave was taken only a few short months after Chris had passed away, and here's what the Foo Fighters frontman had to say.
Chris was such a beautiful guy, man. He was the sweetest person. He was so talented. He had so much to offer that it was a real shock to hear that he had gone. But you know, I think that mental health and depression is something that people should really take seriously, and there's a stigma attached to it that's unfortunate, because just as you take care of yourselves in every other way, I think it's important that people really try to take care of themselves in that way too. And it ain't easy, you know, life's hard.
Of course, Dave Grohl, former drummer of the Seattle grunge band Nirvana. They were going head-to-head with Soundgarden, of course, back in the early 90s, both bands from Seattle. So Dave, of course, knows that loss. Of course, with Kurt Cobain passing away in 1994, he knows that loss of losing a band member and a good friend as well. And it goes without saying, of course, that goes double for Dave when he lost Taylor Hawkins back in 2022. So Grohl really knows what he's talking about on that front. And now we go to Chris's win from the 61st Grammy Awards back in February of 2019. His song, When Bad Does Good, won for Best Rock Performance. Chris's kids, daughter Toni and son Christopher, accepted the award on his behalf. The song When Bad Does Good was a previously unreleased track from Cornell. It was released officially in November of 2018 as part of a box set featuring 11 previously unreleased songs. Cornell recorded, produced, and mixed the song. It opens with the lines, "Standing beside an open grave, your faith decided, your life erased." Cornell then sings, "Your final hour has come today, lit by the fire of your temples burning." And then on into the chorus, "Sometimes bad can do some good." Chris's son, Christopher, also features in the music video for the song. Of course, Chris Cornell is no stranger to the Grammys. Back in 1994, he won 2 for the Best Hard Rock Performance for Black Hole Sun and the Best Metal Performance for Spoon Man. And of course, for his 2019 win for When Bad Does Good, that takes him to 3 overall Grammy wins, and he has been nominated 16 times before also, whether it be with Soundgarden, Audioslave, or his solo material. And so in this next clip, we've got Corey Taylor, lead singer from the band Slipknot. He's talking with Chris Jericho from the rock band Fozzy. And basically Corey here, he's talking about the influence that Chris had on him as a songwriter, and how he really looked up to him, and how that he wishes in the end that he could have done something maybe to help Chris at the end there, but of course he just didn't know. Nobody did. But it's a really cool clip. It's Corey Taylor speaking about Chris Cornell. Let's roll it.
Were you friends with Chris? Did you know him?
I had met him. I mean, we weren't friends, but we were acquaintances.
See him around at festivals and stuff.
Man.
Yeah,
He's such a nice guy. Like just a sweet, just a shy guy, just soft spoken. An amazing singer. I feel horrible about this. It wasn't until he passed that I really realized what a big impact he had on me as a songwriter. And I mean, with Chris, man, it's a goddamn shame, because you could tell that he was fighting those demons and he fought them as hard as he could. And God, I just wish I could have done something, like somebody could have done something.
you just never know, though.
You just never know. You really do.
So a great clip there from Corey Taylor. Something that came out of that for me was just how real that guy was when he was talking about Chris, and how real that guy is. Very well spoken there, Mr. Corey Taylor. Simply put, Chris Cornell was the bomb. He had an absolute kicker of a voice. He seemed like a pretty cool, down-to-earth type of dude to me. A lot of good songs, so much good material, from Soundgarden, Temple of the Dog, all his solo stuff, all the songs he did with Audioslave. There's just so much good stuff there. The guy obviously cared a lot about humanity with the Chris and Vicky Cornell Foundation, helping abused and neglected children around the world. That was something he really did focus on. So the guy had a big heart, man. He was a good guy. He didn't exactly live to a ripe old age. Died pretty damn young. I'm not going to speculate about what happened at the end of Chris's life there, but a real bad way that he went out. I'll use that word again, shocked. That's the only word I can come up with, just shocked. His loss has left a hole in the hearts of his fans. We all miss the guy, what he meant and what he stood for, and all the great music that he made. And as you can see from some of the stuff that I've put throughout this video, from tribute concerts to interviews, people talking about Chris, people saying how much Chris meant to them. This guy meant a lot to a lot of people. These events, these moments, these memories ensure that Chris Cornell's legacy will never be forgotten, and they show just how much Chris meant to everybody. So Chris will always be remembered for his music and his lyrics and that awesome voice that he had. His music was very powerful and meant a lot to a lot of people. Gone far too soon, but will always be remembered by the legacy that he has left behind. Chris, all of your fans truly fell on black days when you passed. It hit us all like a stone, and your passing truly did leave a scar on the sky. And Chris, you may have disappeared off into the super unknown, into a room 1,000 years wide maybe. A truly magnificent artist and singer is what you are. Say hello to heaven for us, Chris. And from all your fans, loud love.
Someone falls to pieces, sleeping all alone. Someone kills the pain, spinning in the silence. She finally drifts away. Someone gets excited in a chapel yard, catches a bouquet. Another lays a dozen white roses on the grave. Yeah, and be yourself is all that you can do. All that you can do.